gained 10 pounds eating the red and the green M&Ms, bro. I gained 10 pounds so quick with all I'll chop it up today. How you brothers been for the week, man?
Oh, we've been good, man. We've been good.
Yeah.
We can't ignore the ratings. I mean, this light skin thing is working for me and Derek.
I heard it's on market. Where do we start?
Yo, what's up? Welcome back to Let's Chop It Up. Please follow us on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. And when you get a chance, please ring that bell, like, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. Let us grow. We want to grow with you. And please make a comment, the good, the bad, and the ugly. We will always get back to you. So my brothers from another mother, it's another week, man. It's been a while, man. Derek, talk to me, man. How you been? What's going on in your world?
I'm all right, man. As you can see, I got a new job as IT support. I'm working right now, you know, on my part-time hustle. Nah, I'm just kidding. Man, everything's good, you know. Just enjoying myself, enjoying life. Had a really, really nice weekend. Little date night with my wife. We jetted off a little bit to see a nice little concert at NJ Pack. Shout out to Music Soul Child and the girl Lettucey. All right, had a just really, really nice concert. Felt very safe. All right, they were up to code with all their CDC guidelines and everything. Make sure everybody had their masks on and everything. So that was a little peculiar, but you know what? I was just thinking, man, let me see what it's going to be like. But it worked out, man. It worked out. So we really had a good time. Hung out with some friends, man, and you know, tried to get 20-something-year-old, turned up a little bit. Wound up at a club, a nightclub. We were the old heads at the nightclub. After the concert, man, we went to some place called Lit 21 nightclub. 12-year-old children with beards in there, man. It was bad. It was bad, man. But we couldn't find a decent bar afterward, man. So you know what I mean. So we was like, all right, whatever, man. And the usual nightclub stuff. Somebody started a fight in there and had to be escorted out. It was. But the funny thing about Newark, man, I was really getting 1990s vibes out of that whole place, man.
1985 vibes.
Yeah, well, I was being polite. But yeah, it's like all the way down to like the dude hitting you up at the end with the roses. Trying to sell you roses in the club. It was like crazy, bro. We were the top council, bro. I'm telling you.
Has anybody ever sold a rose in the club? I'm serious. I've never seen nobody get a rose.
I don't think it's ever worked.
No,
man,
I've seen them selling the flowers in the club and outside the club, but I've never seen anybody get them.
Nobody bought one, right?
Yeah, I never bought none.
That don't stop the natives. Whatever.
Yeah.
Nah, there was extra strip natives down there. Man.
What's bad is the person who missing roses out their garden right now. That's
some boy selling them in the club.
Or off somebody's grave. Yeah.
real.
Man. Good times though. Good times.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Yo, what up, Shug?
What's up, Shug?
What's up, man? What's happening, brother?
Word up, man. Yo, Ron, how was your week, my man?
My week was good. Similar to Derek, I had a romantic getaway with my wife. Me and her, we rented an Airbnb upstate, close to Vermont, nice. And nice little cabin. It was cool. Very, very private. The backyard was the lake. It was just amazing. The scenery, driving up there, the scenery with the fall colors and everything. It was very therapeutic. You know what I mean? But we had a great weekend, just us, no kids, and got a chance to enjoy ourselves. While I was up there, we went to a place, and I had, you ready for this? A fried peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
I've never heard of that.
You never heard that shit? No,
I tell you the truth, I didn't know people was frying peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
Never heard of it.
But we had one, and it absolutely was delicious. Really? They served it with some sort of like whipped cream or something. It would probably taste better if it was with vanilla ice cream, but it still was good. But that pretty much was my weekend. You know what I'm saying? I mean, just spending time with my wife. We came back home on Monday, and got back into it with the kids. So everything's good though.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Kelvin, man, what's up? Talk to us, brother. How was your week?
Well, it was pretty. Well, let me just say this first of all, Rodney. Just from a dietary standpoint, we're never gonna get anywhere as a people. Still,
Correct.
I just want to.
No.
There's white people eating this shit.
But to tell you the truth, we was actually the only black people in there, so there was white people eating.
But no, when y'all put the
Kelvin, I did feel my arteries clogging as I ate it. And actually, it probably took me maybe 2 days after that to probably get that shit out of my system. But I tell you one thing, that shit was delicious.
It went though, right?
It was delicious.
Yo,
Yeah.
All right. My week was really, really good, man. My nephew came home from the Air Force, brought his new girlfriend. She's an absolute sweetheart. He's a good young man, and I was just so proud. We went to the haunted houses in Melville. I took them to their vegan restaurant. They're both vegan, so that was cool. We also took them to a Knicks game, and the Knicks lost like scrubs. I just want to say that, and I want my money back from that.
Knicks only lost one loss.
It did. We did karaoke, so it was cool, you know. So yeah, karaoke was good. And I realized something. I found out that singing in the shower and in the car is a lot different than on a microphone with other people around. I just found that out because I know.
Shauna, what up, Shauna?
In the car, you know what I'm saying?
You rocking in the car, man. I'm telling you.
You know,
what up?
What's up,
but,
How you doing?
You know, but it was really, really, really good week, and everything is cool. D, how was yours?
My week was good, man. It was good, man. I got to go down south real quick to Black College homecoming and see my friends and stuff like that. I consider them family.
It was your alma mater?
Yeah, Benedict College, baby. We went down there and took an ass whipping by Howard University. No, we lost to Morehouse. Can't believe we lost to them chumps. They came out, up there, the toodaloos and the little skirts, and they came in and whipped their ass in football, though. But, shout out to the Morehouse brothers. I'm just joking.
Since they beat y'all, they had on man skirts.
Right? And man skirts and man they wanted whipping our asses and stuff. But and then it was just cool to see folks and it's just strange. Like a lot of people, they dietary things they say they are, and when they go, "Hey man, you got big," I say, "Hey, aren't you a vegan? But you bigger than me." I'm just wondering what kind of like barbecue we was up there. I'm like, what kind of vegan food do these fat bastards eat? I don't want none of this fat bastards vegan food when I ever in my life. I'd rather eat fried peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Unhealthy vegan.
You know what I'm saying? It's just crazy. And then some, it's crazy with these fat vegans. And then a lot of these fat vegans, man. Then a lot of these throwback chicks, man. Like I know we all old, but I just don't understand how some of these women that never wanted to give you no ass back, and they just be trying to throw it to you at homecoming, sliding in your DMs and in your messages. I'm like, man, you got more gut than you have butt now. And your titties are National Geographic.
You getting dangerous close to the scroll.
I'm just saying.
The scroll is on the way.
I'm just saying. I love my people. I love them all. But listen, man, it's a wrap. I'm good.
Indeed. Stop saying we old, man. We are not old.
We seasoned. We seasoned.
Say something. Do some work with me.
But we all about half a century old. But we ain't old yet though.
But yo, I have an announcement I got to make, and it's tough. On the heels of the New York Jets losing 54-13,
why are we talking about the Jets?
Yeah.
I just have to announce after rooting for this team since I was 6 years old, it's finally time. It's time that I'm going to have to move on from being a Jets fan. I've done it. They finally broke me, and it just.
Oh man!
I just want to say, well, first of all, I told myself I wasn't going to cry. I told myself I wasn't going to cry, but I want
you better not cry on this show.
I want to thank the fans, both of them. I just thank everybody in the Jets like 60-year history. I appreciate the 14 times we made the playoffs. So I just want to say, but it's time for me to move on. I can't take the losing anymore. So I just want to make it. I wish Derek and Jamie and I guess that's the two. I wish you guys. I wish you guys. I was all right when I wore my Jets uniform to my fan union. I got booed. You know what I'm saying? And I've had kids curse me out and say I'm a bad role model for wearing jet ski and stuff like that. So it's just time. I wish you guys the best.
You just gotta shift your thinking, brother. You gotta shift your thinking. It's part of the culture.
Yeah.
Losing is part of our culture.
I tried that.
All right, shot. I forgot about Ray.
Sorry to hear that.
There you go.
Good
Sorry
luck
to hear that. Sorry to hear that.
He likes to
China
walk on the glass too. Yeah.
Trying to divorce him today. Don't not rock with Ray for that Jet fan. Bad decision, man.
But I'm not gonna let the enemy use me. We still got a great show. Let's chop it up. You know what it is. The best in the business. Let's do it.
That's it, man. You got anything else on your mind, brother? You good?
Nah, that took a lot out of me, bro. I'm going to counseling next week or whatever like that. You know what I'm saying? But counselor's a Patriots fan, but that's a different story. I get it.
God damn.
We'll be back after this.
I mean, the Jets. You must like pain. I don't understand it. I really don't understand people that are Jet fans.
Hey, man,
and like Joe Namath was overrated. He was just a lucky dude.
Yeah.
And that's all y'all had that 1 year.
Did you have to take that from us too? Did you have to take it? You're gonna kill us.
No, he's right. I'm
just saying, people talk about like Broadway Joe. He just had like a charisma. He was not a good quarterback, bro. He's just a decent dude.
We can't have nothing.
Joe Namath's claim to fame is that one Super Bowl and a fur coat. That's his claim to fame.
And he wore pantyhose.
And he's also alcoholic.
All right, look.
Yeah.
Just that I'm not a Jets fan no more. You ain't gotta do him like that. I mean,
we're gonna respect. No, we're gonna kick you while you're down. That's what we're gonna do.
We always down though.
Yeah. I'm gonna kick you while you're down.
Man.
Because the thing is, it actually took too long for you to come to your senses. You know what I'm saying?
My nephew always said that.
They got to change the colors or something. It's just
I just want to thank you guys for being great motivational speakers, by the way, to really encourage your brothers. So thank you.
No problem, man. That's what we're here for, man. This is all love. This is all love.
We're gonna keep it a buck, man. We ain't gonna let you
It's an abusive relationship, man. It really is, brother. It really is.
Man.
One other shout out to my man Mark Jackson being inducted into the St. John's University Hall of Fame. Give it up for number 13 from Queens, New York. Mark Jackson, number 13.
That's what's up. Queens and / Brooklyn legend, I guess.
No doubt.
Yeah, I got shout him out for that, man. And brother, what's the Cadillac Escalade was dope.
Escalade,
man. Escalade.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. to that brother.
Escalade.
Yeah.
It took me a minute to figure out that was his brother, man. I didn't know.
A lot of people say that.
Yeah.
He was dope. Well, let's see what's going on the chopping block here. What my man Jamie got for us tonight here. New classic hip hop station taking over NYC airwaves, 94.7 The Block. So anybody listen to the station yet? I haven't listened to it yet. I haven't listened to radio in a few. So talk to me. What you think?
It's only in the 5 boroughs, or it's throughout New York State?
That's a good question. Might be in the 5 boroughs.
It's gonna be.
I doubt it's in New York State.
It's the boroughs. It's not. It's just the boroughs.
It's just the boroughs.
Yeah, I don't think they got.
I don't think we can hear it.
They ain't got enough antenna.
We need it. We need it. We need another choice.
They only paid half of the Wi-Fi bill. But they couldn't broadcast it tri-state area. You know what I'm saying?
That shit might be only in the Bronx.
And then somebody gonna steal an antenna from the Bronx.
No joke. I heard one of their sponsors, Old Gold. They're bringing it back.
Chill.
No, I think it's necessary. We need it. We need
another hip hop station.
This is what they get for taking 98.7 Kiss FM away. So we needed something.
Yeah. This is a converted country station as well. They were saying, you know what I mean? This used to be a country station.
We needed that too.
And so we got rid of that. You know, so I don't know who's stepping the country in Brooklyn, but so yeah,
hip hop is the number one played music in the world. So
it is.
And it's sad that we don't have a real hip hop station. You know what I mean?
We do have Power 105. We got
classic hip hop.
Yeah,
we don't have a classic hip hop station.
Classic hip hop. That's
artists.
I listen to Rock the Bells. I mean, they hit some classic hits on there too.
Sound like Wild Pain. You talking about free radio? Because me and Rock. Well, I don't know if you guys have satellite radio. That's what we listen to.
Yeah, I got satellite radio.
Yeah, satellite radio all day. But
I mean,
I'm glad that they got a radio station that we could probably listen to with your family in the car. That's hip hop.
Yeah.
That's the thing. That's the thing. Like
on the Rock the Bells, I don't know, man. I was usually have you ever really listened to Rock the Bells with your kids in the car, man? Come on.
No, it's kind of bugged out too.
Yeah.
But some say who listens to the radio? Yes, true. Because I don't even listen to the morning show anymore.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna tell you something. I feel redeemed. You know why? You know how y'all got on me for calling my credit card company to make a payment? Yeah. I met somebody the other day who still mails a check to them.
How old are they? 75, 72?
And they probably older than you, right?
About a year or two, but
yeah.
I didn't expect y'all to reverse that on me.
No, it's still.
So I want to go back to the hip hop station. I see.
Yeah, it's still outdated, Kelvin. You can't do
I got
that.
a mail to check goes back there.
Yeah. I think I'll be honest with you. I think the only person that I pay with a check is probably like the landscaper or something.
I even Zell him.
Your landscaper take a check. Y'all got some good landscapers.
I Zell my landscaper.
For some reason, he prefers a check. Yeah.
Talking about a checking account. Nah, that's amazing. That's a good look.
Only time I may have that's because when you write void on the check, and I probably use the same void check every time.
That's what it is, right? Yeah. Listen to Rock the Bells with kids are called exactly.
No, damn.
No, when I'm listening to the kids, you can't listen to the morning show either.
Yeah, you can't listen to the morning show either, man.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes they get a good guest on the morning show, like. But I really mostly listen to Urban View Radio, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but the thing is, even if they got a guest on, you're still worried about them saying something inappropriate.
Yeah, big facts.
You can't escape it, you know.
Yeah.
Like when I drop the kids off in the morning, I can't listen to it. It's too. You don't know what they might say.
Yeah, I'm joking.
Classic hip hop was more creative because it had to be, though. You know what I mean? Like we were still fighting for, like, to be taken seriously. So you had to watch the cursing. You had to watch the. What you said on the radio back then, remember they were trying to cancel hip hop back when, and then you go as far as like London, it was for all intents and purposes. When you go to England, it was illegal. Hip hop was illegal in there. You know what I mean? It would get raided. Hip hop artists would get raided. So I feel like we lost that. The pioneers and founders, our generation, we really laid the groundwork for everything that came later. But unfortunately, and they really took their creativity and took it to new heights and really did things. But they're kind of like entitled, though. I feel like the new generation is almost like privileged spoiled kids, a little bit entitled with the music. They're not really doing much to push it forward,
Yeah, Rakim, what he said, he just never want to curse it from his parents.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you know why? Because
how old are you?
I'm gonna. Yo, I don't
Shot on fire tonight.
But I'm gonna
call what the F you mean? Yeah, that's
right.
Yeah,
you're right. Yeah, that shit is bugged out. You're right, Tiger. What up? Shout out, Tim.
Yeah, there was. I don't know if you guys remember this word. It was called respect back then.
Yeah,
they didn't do certain things that would make, like he said, I didn't want to curse because my parents would listen.
That's right.
It's like back in the days, you hung out with people that were into certain things, but when they came over your house, they still was very courteous to your mother, your grandmother. Right. They help your mother carry your groceries into the house, and then leave and go up the block and murder somebody. But the thing is, but they still have respect. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So they don't. There's no respect no more. So that's what.
I had a friend but he came to my house and Shauna and Jamie know him fucking Juju. That motherfucker help your mother bring in the groceries, then steal your front paper and sell it back to you. Fucking Juju. Ernie Dirt. That was his nickname.
Ernie Dirt. That's a good ass name for him.
Yeah.
That motherfucker grimy motherfucker, boy.
Hell yeah. That sounds
another news on the chopping block tonight. Robert De Niro, income earned during his marriage from his wife, is saying that he can keep his joint, man. It's like he's worth $500 million in his fortune from a strange wife. He said that she can't touch his own personal money, separate property. What do you think? What are your thoughts?
Okay, I'll take this one first. We had talked about this during the meeting. We were wondering, like, how did she not get any of those proceeds of his earnings throughout their marriage? Because usually a spouse is entitled to, what you make during the proceeds, during the time of the marriage. But he had a prenup deed, and he had a damn good one too.
Damn.
But the thing is, I mean, she's not leaving empty-handed. He's got to pay her $1 million every year.
And $6 million for the new house, right?
And he's got to give her $6 million towards a new house. Right. So she gets $1 million a year, and the only thing that has stopped that is if she remarries or one of them dies. So she's good as long as they're alive. And I'm pretty sure she ain't gonna remarry and drop that $1 million a year.
Right.
But she's not leaving empty-handed, but he gets to keep his is 500 million legacy. Keeps to keep his businesses and all of that stuff. She's not entitled to nothing that. So it's just a straight out settlement.
Yeah, and it doesn't hurt that the divorce happened here in New York and not California. You know?
Yeah.
Because you got state laws involved as well. You know, California, man, it's just real cut and dry. They don't care about that prenup. They might just burn that bad boy, wipe their ass with it. You know what I mean? They don't know. But New York apparently, you know, they upheld the paper, and this is what it is. And she didn't listen. $6 million towards a new house, man. That's a lot of house, man. You know what I mean? She's doing all right. She's not hurt. Plus $1 million just for being, you know. So, you know, obviously if she remarries and finds somebody better, then, you know, let him take over.
I don't know though. If your husband worth $500 million,
I know. Me too. I'm thinking about goddamn $1 million, and you like, you like 70 years old.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You know, they be talking about it's all relative. You got to maintain the same lifestyle. Yeah, that's living on a budget. $6 million.
But I think that's why he divorced her. Apparently, she had to him tell it. You know, she had a very extravagant lifestyle. You know what I mean?
And I'm pretty sure she did.
It made it work.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure she did. They were worth $500 million.
Yeah, she had a very extravagant.
She should have just made it work, brother.
Do you think she got short? You think the court held up because she was black and not a white woman doing it?
You know, that's the elephant in the room too. You know.
No, I agree with Derek. I think it's because of New York State. That's why. I mean, it's like if it was California, they would have pretty much wiped away a lot of that prenup and gave us some bread. But I definitely believe it was because of the state. You know.
Yeah.
But I mean, like I say, $1 million. That's a lot of bread for him to cough up every year.
Yeah, she ate all she was getting, you know. You know. But listen, she got whatever she still got whatever she bought during the relationship, you know.
Correct. And whatever she was able to keep.
Yeah, she keeps that, you know.
And who says she got to buy a $6 million house? Maybe she buy a $3 million house and then keep the other $3.
She gonna buy a $6 million.
You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't buy a $6 million house if that was my cap. I would buy a less house and then put the rest in.
But does it mean she gets the difference? I thought it was $6 million toward.
Yes, I would say toward, but that doesn't mean she definitely has to spend the whole $6 million. I would think.
I thought she'd get, if she bought a $4 million house, I thought he's responsible for $4. But it's definitely
I didn't take it that way. Okay. I took it as though it's $6. That's a cap. $6 million. She can't exceed that, but I think she can go under it.
If she buys $6 million, I'll sell it. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Just sell that motherfucker. Right after.
She move out of state.
You can do that too.
That's a good strategy. Yeah, she can move out of state. $6 million will take you a long place, man. Depending on where depending on where you willing to live, you know, you can get $6 million on the house.
I'm pretty sure we won't be running into it in our neighborhoods. I mean,
you don't think she want to move to South Jamaica?
I don't think so, D. I think she. Yeah, I don't think she's going to want to do it.
She might want to go to the fish house every night. She black.
She a different kind of black. She got a different type of, not the same. I don't think she's coming here for cornbread and hog mugs. I don't think she's going to do it.
They got big ears.
Yeah, I don't think she wants chitlin.
Yeah. Oh man, but damn, man. I mean, I've been in his restaurants. Restaurants off the hook, nice. I mean, I didn't eat in there. I didn't eat there.
He's a creep to me, though.
He's the
worst on interviews.
Oh, he is the worst. Yeah, interviews. She said,
Shonda said she could live on $1 billion.
I'm pretty sure you could. I'm pretty sure she could. I'm sure she'd be very happy living off $1 million a year.
So would I.
Yeah.
Everybody I know.
I'll quit my job today.
What?
Yeah.
You never have to work, man. $1 million a year, you are good.
Yeah.
You know? But maybe that. But isn't that something though? He'd rather that's how much that. To me, that kind of gives you an idea how much money she might have been spending though. If the stories are straight, you know what I mean? Because he's willing to, $1 million a year is
how old is she?
A discount for him, you know. I'm not really sure.
I'm not sure how old she was. I know he's like 70, like 77, 78, something like that.
She's in her 50s,
Make it work.
In her 50s. Yeah.
Make it work.
Listen, I agree. If you can make it work.
If the person ain't abusing you, make it work. You sleep in bed anyway.
Yo,
fuck
Kelvin, if you unhappy, dog, trust me, the money don't matter sometimes. If you miserable, it don't matter.
Yeah, fuck that. Kelvin, you ain't been married to them.
You're correct, and you ain't been divorced. Trust me.
You come home, he's like, fuck that shit.
You don't even want to come home. You don't even want to come home.
You've been in a bad relationship with somebody. You ever live with somebody.
He would drive around the block till she went to sleep.
Wait till the lights go out.
Hell yeah.
Word up.
Or if you came home and a car wasn't there, you'd be like, "Oh, I can sneak in. Let me get in." She won't be able to.
Or, and then play sleep.
Well, the kids are grown
Well,
up.
I think the kids are
no
grown.
child
Yeah,
support. They have
they got
adult
2
children
kids.
support.
Yeah,
I think them motherfuckers grown.
Yeah, right around there at that money, house, everything. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yep. When it's time to walk away, trust me, you're gonna walk away.
There's nothing like being miserable. There's nothing like being miserable.
Can somebody find out, even people in the audience, can they find out the age of his wife and put it in the chat for us? That'd be kind of great. Let's see how many years she could rock out with these millions.
She got a good stretch. I think she's in her 50s, man. She's
No, it's based on if Robert De Niro passes away, it's over. She don't get it no more. Or she dies or get married, she don't get it no more.
Well, these young brothers better go get her.
They better go.
That's crazy. Yeah, but she gets it. You know, what I mean, you got to worry more about his age than hers. You know.
Exactly, no right. You ain't lying about to say that again.
Ain't lying.
Say that to people in the back of here, that motherfucker. They ain't lying.
More than stuff and money.
Word up.
Shit.
That shit is stressful. I had hair, but when I was
experience.
Word up. Now I got fucking I went through that divorce. That shit took my fucking.
That's really why the thing with Beyonce won't work out.
Jamie says she's 66.
Okay.
66. I was looking too. Yeah.
That's not bad. 66. Yeah. You still got a lot of road left in this.
Kelvin, you better go highlight her.
Well, because if she get married again, that's it.
She's not gonna get married again. Why would you?
Look at Mary. You can ride that up. Pamela, what up? Thank you, Pamela. Shout out to the sister Pamela.
No, she got a lot of time. That's a lot of time. $1 million a year, man. 66. She could play. She should have enough sense to just, I think she was spending that money because it was there, man. You know what I mean? Like $500 million. Good Lord, that's ugly. That amount of money is just like it's not real.
He's got a tax debt of $6.4 million too. So he's got to pay that off. Yeah.
Ain't shit.
Yeah. That's
that's like chump change. Like I take that.
Yeah.
But
I know one of his things was 66. She better not get married again. Yeah. One of his things was he felt like he had to keep up an insane work schedule because of her spending habits. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like she was almost forcing him to constantly work because of how much money she spent. That's what
he's probably buying red bottles every day and shit like that.
Yeah.
Well, you know that when you go through a divorce, everybody's got to come in with a defense.
Yeah.
So we can't all believe what everybody said.
Might not be.
Correct. It may not be true. I think Michael Strahan said his wife was an excessive spender too, and
his wife's just butt ugly. That's all. But go ahead.
Well,
that's an ugly white woman, man. Ugly white woman.
She was able to produce mad receipts that she only shopped in Target and killed his defense.
Oh damn!
Yeah,
she looked like she only shopped in Target. She looked like and Goodwill might have been a come up.
As we're going to talk about later, there's a lot of plays that people do when you're going through a divorce and strategies and stuff like that. It becomes business after that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's not about love anymore. It's about what you're going to be able to walk away with and how much you're going to be able to keep. That's what it's about.
Right.
Yeah. Well, at this time, man, we're going to go to our first commercial tonight. Jamie, take us to commercial, brother.
I'm Dawn Kelly, daughter of Joan Kelly, granddaughter of Margaret Ackerman, and founder and CEO of the Nourish Spot. I'm a native New Yorker, born in Harlem and raised in Queens. The community connects to the Nourish Spot through a number of ways, one of which is through my family's 60 years of long-standing roots in this community. My grandfather purchased the first home in our family here in Jamaica. We connect to the community through our employees. We have a number of young Black and brown men and women that mask up and glove up to come to work every day so that we can assemble customize fruits and vegetables into what customers want. And so I'm really happy that we have such a great team, and I thank them every day for their dedication and fortitude. COVID-19 has caused a lot of small businesses like myself to close. And so we're very happy that what we've been able to do is pivot. And so instead of allowing individuals to walk into our store, we have set up a QR code, we've set up a curbside pickup, and we have a heavier reliance on our food delivery service at partners. So in my opinion, resilience means, taking challenges by the horn, if you will, and kind of wrangling them and navigating them in order to continue, in our case, serving the community. The Nourish Spot is all in Queens.
Welcome back to Let's Chop It Up. Please follow Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Like and subscribe. Tonight we got a special guest on This is my man Kelvin's people. I'm gonna let you rock and roll and bring it in, Kelvin.
Listen, first of all, I'd just like to say I'm excited about tonight. This is one of my closest and dearest friends. We go back a long way, all the way back to Amityville High School. And truly, I'll just tell you this. If you ever, they always ask if you ever in the foxhole with somebody who you want in there. Let me tell you something. She'll get rid of the fox and whoever else is trying to threaten you. So she's a great friend. But I want to introduce to the Let's Chop It Up family to discuss life after divorce, my good friend, Yvonne Romaine. Everybody give it up for Yvonne. What's up? What's up?
Good evening. Good evening. Good evening.
What's up, sister?
What's up? What's up? How you doing?
I'm well. I'm doing well. Thank you for having me. Appreciate the invitation.
Yes, definitely. Welcome to Let's Chop It Up. Well, Yvonne, initially we thought about doing a show about people who have survived divorce. And so, you are a person that I thought about because you are very successful. You're a person who lives a life where it seems like no regrets. You've been very diligent in building a great family. She's a great mother for those that don't know, a great wife for those that don't know. But give us a little bit about the process, because we wanted a woman's perspective. Two of the gentlemen here have been divorced and remarried on our show, and they're also successful. But from a woman's perspective, tell us a little bit about the process when you first realized the marriage is going to end.
All right. Well, first and foremost, thank you for all the accolades. You're being too kind because I'm an asshole. But let's get into it. So right now, as everyone knows, I'm currently married. I'm now currently married for 13 years. This is my second marriage. However, my first marriage, I was married for 12 years. So I've been married in total for over 25 years. So in my first marriage, I think one of the setups for failure started from the mere fact that I was too young when I got married. That was the first start. And I'm going to take the ownership of that, because sometimes as young adults, you think you know everything, but you don't. You're still a child. I was 21. He was 22. We were too young to even be playing house, let alone getting married. So I think that was the first start of our decline. Was there love there? Absolutely. Even at the time of divorce, I was still completely head over heels in love with him. But the transition really started to manifest when you realize that just because he's your husband, that does not change the man he is. It does not change the character of the man that he was when he was your boyfriend, or the man you were fucking around with before you got engaged or anything. He is that same person. And you cannot expect that when he says, I do, he's going to stop doing what he does. That's the misconception that a lot of people get when they get into marriage, that they think all of a sudden something miraculous is going to happen when the I do's are said. It doesn't. the marriage really begins the day you guys realize that you want to set up a life with one another, not when you actually make this commitment before God, as people want to call it. So that keeping in mind that, I also realized then his track record was he wasn't a faithful guy, but he was an excellent provider. He was an alpha male. He was very sharp, very intelligent, very successful. And so I take full responsibility, I accepted that bullshit here and there. Not that he had it thrown in my face, but I was kind of aware that it may have been going on. So that was another aspect of the relationship. So here it is, our age was a factor. Then the infidelity, a factor. So then the infidelity was at one point one-sided. And then I said, well, fuck it. If he's doing it, I'm going to fucking do it too. But that still didn't destroy the marriage. So here it is, our age didn't destroy the marriage. The infidelity didn't destroy the marriage. But as time progressed, our roles changed. And so we no longer became or were continued as partners. We became cohabitants, roommates, and kind of just parents to our children. And so at one point when I was having another child, I wasn't working. And so here it is, I had to be responsible for the children, but yet he was responsible for me. So it changed the dynamic of the roles that we had, because here it is, now he's looking at me as, okay, his roommate, his spouse, in a sense, the mother of his children, but then he's also looking at me as a dependent, as someone he has to take care of. Whereas when he and I first got together, I was highly independent, had my own thing, and so now here it is, I'm relying on him. And so because him being that alpha man, he used that as a sense of control. So it just started to snowball from there. It happened so slightly that I didn't recognize it as it was occurring, that there was a shift in our dynamic, and I became like one of the children. And then, other things transpired. It became a little abusive, physically, emotionally, and eventually I got out. But the thing is that I was actually leaving the marriage probably about a year before I actually did it. And that's what a lot of men don't seem to understand. They think when they get to serve with the divorce papers, they're like, oh my God, where does this come from? She's been telling you for a while. You just wasn't listening. So that's a little bit, obviously we can go into the weeds of things if you have any further questions about it, but that's kind of like a quick synopsis of that 12 years.
Yvonne, so did your first, so you got a lot of alcohol in the background. Did the first marriage drive you to all this drinking?
And we want to know, can we come over?
Listen, my door is always open. I tend to have a lot of social events, so feel free to come over. I hope somebody's enjoying some drinks with me.
No, I like the left side of the bar, what you got going on over there. So I'm gonna be over more to that side. But okay. Yvonne, I commend you a lot on a lot of things that you said, and it actually kind of reminded me of my situation where you started to see the breakdown of somebody basically not putting 100% into the marriage and going outside the marriage. The thing is you kind of described as though at some point you guys started just going through the motions. You just were existing in the marriage, but there really wasn't a marriage. That's correct?
Well, I won't necessarily say that. There was a marriage, but the dynamic of the marriage wasn't successful. It wasn't something that was going to breed anything positive. So yeah, we were great as being parents. We are great as a couple and dynamic. However, like I said, the transition of me ended up being more like a child, or feeling like a child, being lost in that relationship because he was so successful. And here it is, I had to take a back seat because I'm bearing children and I wasn't working. So, here it is, I'm pregnant, I'm having kids, I have 3 small ones at the time. And it was difficult for me to take that kind of role and responsibility where I'm going to take on the household and he's going to work. And so, and then he worked in a certain kind of atmosphere where he was so controlling, just to say, I wasn't working. I had the 3 children, and he was kind of like keeping up with the Joneses. He was like a top VP at a major corporation. And so we started going away every month. Every month we were going to the Caribbean here. And so we had, we would travel. And then he said, well, every time when I want to do something, you're too busy doing things around the house with the kids. He then hired a nanny. Like, why do we need a nanny if I'm home? I mean, he just began to just want to control every aspect of my existence. And so that really was a decline. And I got to tell you, the catalyst that really prompted me to say enough was enough. I remember I was driving in the car, and my son, my older son at the time, he was about 9, maybe 10. And you remember that song, Lock Up, Won't Let You Out? So my son, exactly. My son was like, Mom, that's your theme song. I said, excuse me? He said, yeah, because Daddy don't let you out. That right there clicked. It registered. I was like, I cannot have my sons believing that this type of dynamic or relationship is acceptable. I am not raising boys, I'm raising men. And I cannot have them think that to treat a woman like this is acceptable. I also just had the baby. It was a girl. And I was like, I can't have my daughter in this dynamic. So in all actuality, I had physical abuse, emotional abuse, the infidelity, and I still wasn't going because I got used to the abnormal became normal for me. And that's the problem in a lot of marriage. The abnormal becomes normal, becomes routine.
Yeah.
And you kind of just get used to the fuckery. You just get used to it.
That's what I meant when I was saying that you guys at some point just started. You was probably just going through the motions of it. But I was going to ask you another question too. What was the breaking point? But you just answered that question already.
That was it. That was
because everybody.
That was the epiphany. That was the.
Because the thing is, like everybody, when you get to that point, you remember the day that you broke. That was your day. You remembered it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Because I remember mine like yesterday.
Really?
Yeah, I do. I remember the day that it was my breaking point, and I said that this was it, and it was done. And it's very vivid in my mind. I guess it was vivid in yours because you described it.
It still is. Yeah. That's why I.
Yeah, I was definitely going to ask you that. What was the breaking point, and do you remember it? But you obviously do.
Yeah, it was my son.
Did you stay together? Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, D.
No, the thing is like, you're saying when you're young and you get married, did you stay together because of the image of what people were saying, like your families? You had this image, like you say, you was doing well financially. You had these 3 kids. You had the trips and everything. Sometimes people stay together just because of what people thinking, like, oh my gosh, it's so perfect. Did you stay together a little longer because of that?
No, in all actuality, I mean, as weird as it would say, we were very much in love with each other. We just didn't treat each other well as time progressed. We loved each other. We knew each other. I was 13 and 14 when he and I started on and off dating. So I knew this man for a long time. So we were comfortable with each other. There was always going to be a love there. Even the day I divorced him, and even after the divorce, and we continued to fight in court, I still had a love for him. Because I didn't leave him because I didn't love him. I left him because I needed better for my children and myself. Yeah. So some people leave because there's no longer love there. That wasn't my case. I left and I was still in love with my husband.
Yeah, it sounds like it sounds like you had a real connection. You acknowledging that you had a real connection to him, even going back to your own childhood, as you say. So do you think that at some point you stayed long enough because maybe you thought that maybe things would reverse, like maybe
absolutely
trying to go back to what you had or whatever, which you
going back to childhood, really? I should have left probably 4 years earlier than what I did. Absolutely, without question, no hesitation. Yeah, definitely. I don't think anybody that gets divorced and really went into the marriage wanting it to be successful gets out immediately when they see, some red flags. You don't. You actually think that things are going to change, it'll get better, and you keep writing it out. And then when you have children involved, you have assets involved, when you start intertwining all those things, it's not an easy breakup. It's just not. Because you have to understand, marriage is a contract. It's just not 2 people who are in love and they're getting together. No, now you're blending everything. Our finances, our properties, our children, our families, our relationships, our friendships. I mean, there's so much that gets intertwined that now you have to separate. And that's something difficult to choose to do. It's something difficult because a divorce is like a death. It really is a loss.
It's a long dragged out death.
Oh, and that shit cost me almost $125,000.
Yvonne, how did the experience change you? Because obviously you grew up with this man, then you became an adult, really being with him. How did it change you? What was your mindset after the divorce was final? What was your mindset going forward?
Can I really tell you? All right, so
it's another day. Excuse me, I don't want to cut you off, Yvonne, but I'm sure that's another day you remember very clearly when the divorce was finalized, right?
And I want to say,
I know the exact date, January 20th, 2005.
I want to say this to my past. They'll know what this means. Yvonne gonna be the first guest to get the scroll. I want to say that. I just want to say that.
I don't think she's gonna get it.
We have a scroll that we run. But go ahead, Yvonne. Tell me how it changed you. What was your plan once everything was final?
Well,
Yvonne, drink up, let it all out.
Don't drink, Yvonne. Don't drink.
Drink up.
I've been drinking.
There you go. Keep it going.
No. This was my plan, and this is where I'm gonna own that I was different. So after I got divorced, and I was like, fuck this, I'm never getting married again. All I'm gonna do, because I had my own house, I had children, so I didn't need a man for shit. So I'm like, I'm just gonna fuck. I'm just gonna date and fuck. That's it.
Scroll.
What else I need? What else I need from you?
Nah. She give it a buck. I like that shit.
I mean, that's what my mentality was. I was just gonna date and fuck. And then when I started to, I guess when all these guys found out that I was getting divorced, my door was like, I mean, I had people knocking and calling and everything. And then, I started dating my current husband, and I was dating him and another guy at the same time because they were both on some bullshit. So I was like, I'm not committing to anybody at this point. But I digress. In any event, the point is that I realized in the midst of the dating and just wanting to just be out there and just a different change from what I was, that wasn't me. I realized I'm not a girl to have a one-night stand. I'm not a girl to just fuck around. I'm not that type of woman. I am a wife. I don't know how to be anything other than that. So I didn't know how to date. I knew how to be a wife. So here it is, a gentleman wants to go out with me and he comes over, I'm cooking food and I'm serving him a plate of food. I have him sit down and I'm treating him as if I would my husband when he would come home. Or if we go, and so I realized I don't know how to date. I don't know what I'm doing. Because again, I was married for 12 years. So my thought was, I'm going to do this. But it ended up being something completely different. Yeah. But yes, that's what I wanted to do. I should have, honestly, hindsight being 2020, but
Yvonne, do you feel that your marriage may have worked out better if you guys had got married later in life instead of so young?
It's hard to say.
The thing is, the reason why I ask is because the reason why I ask is because usually lots of times people, when they get older, they're done with the bullshit. So when you get married young, you're still not done with the bullshit, No,
I don't. For the person that he was, I don't think age would have made it better. I think because he became such a control freak and one of those guys that had to have everything in its place, including his wife, that it wasn't going to work. Because again, at this point, we were going to church, and he was kind of into this whole mentality that you have to submit to me, you have to do that, and it just became extreme. So, do I think it would have gotten better? No. I think it would have just progressed, and I would have really been lost in that relationship.
Let me ask you something. Do you think any kind of like childhood trauma, the way he's saying he's controlling and abusive, any things came in the fact that did you seek counseling, anything like that?
Did he and I seek counseling?
Yeah, like did he, like sometimes like some people bring some things that happen in childhood into marriages, into their adult life. And did any things get addressed? When y'all at some point, did you ever think about, man, let's go talk to somebody see if we can sit down and figure this out?
I mean, we did, do a little bit of counseling here and there. I would say that the counseling that we did seek had similar mindset of the woman submitting to the man in this whole kind of extreme fanatical way. So
was a religious person?
Yeah.
That's where you go wrong. No disrespect, Kelvin. No disrespect, Kelvin.
No, D.
No, but I mean, but they kind of, they're not really trained, truthfully, to handle marriages in that kind of capacity. But you know what, my ex-husband, God rest his soul, because he passed away a few years ago. he was a good man overall, and he just happened to be different when it came to me, and he became very possessive and controlling. But needless to say, he was a good man for the time, and then there came a time when he wasn't so good. So, you know, if we would fast forward a few more years, I still don't think it would have changed because he naturally progressed to be this type of man. Do you know what I mean? So here it is. This is how he was in his 30s with me. You know, if I started out dating or getting married to him in his 30s, I probably wouldn't have even married him then if he had that type of personality. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
Now, Iman, you got to give them a little bit of background. He was military, and let
Okay,
them know about the branch.
Right. So my ex-husband was prior military. He was in the Marine Corps. He served in Desert Storm. He was there for almost a year. Um, and he really kind of seen a lot of things that traumatized him, I believe. And it kind of, I think, affected him in such a way that when he came back into civilian life, it was certainly an adjustment. He used to, like it was so weird because he would show me pictures of his time when he was in Saudi, and he had a picture where he's literally holding up a person's foot like this, like it was a prop, and it was nothing to them. It was just like death was everything. So when you have that kind of mentality and then you kind of reintroduce yourself into normal life, you don't see things the same way as maybe most people do. So you take everything a little bit more extreme. You go a little bit above and beyond when you do things. And so he was very like, not just going to do it. He was going to overdo it with everything. Just
Okay.
everything.
So now when that's over, what happens for life after divorce? How do you bounce back?
Okay. Well, for me, I think the best thing that happened for me was to recognize that the marriage failed not because of something he specifically did or I specifically did. Sometimes marriages don't work because we as young people have a different mindset. And then when you get older, you kind of grow apart. And granted, we had the other dynamic in certain things. But the life after divorce for me, which ended up being a better life, was that I still had hope. I still had hope that things were going to be better. And so for me, when I decided to get into other relationships, I was like, you know what? I'm going to apply myself more than what I applied in my first marriage. Like I said, you know, he was out there. I cheated too. I mean, I remember him cheating, and I said, oh, and then he found out I was cheating, and I was like, oh, so you thought the grass was green on the other side, and you recognized it was crabgrass. So you know what I mean? Like, you start having a different perspective. Right. And so I think after divorce, you start to reflect what you did in that relationship, and you try not to repeat it going forward. And so you start to grow from that experience. And I believe that because of those experiences, it made me as successful as I am now. It made me have a different level and drive for what I'm doing in my life. And it made me be intolerant of certain things as well, whereas I was a little bit more accepting. So he kind of, you know, toughened me up in such a way that now in any situation, not just in my current marriage, but in any relationship, you know, I have to make sure that there's some sort of reciprocity, that I'm not just going to be the one giving, that we have to have, you know, a two-way street. And some days you might give 20 and I might give 80. But overall, when it nets out in a wash, it's still a 50-50 relationship. And I think that that's the perspective I gained from that marriage and that relationship and then the divorce.
Yeah. Yvonne, for the audience, how long did it take you? I don't know how your settlement worked out, but how long did it take you to get completely back on your feet? As it worked out that good? The thing is, like, I want people to understand that sometimes right after divorce, I know that most of the time the men take a harder hit than the women, especially when there's children involved. But how long did it take you to get back financially, some place to live, your credit, all those type of things?
Okay, so it was a fucking shit show. It was the worst thing ever. And again, I actually gave my husband a heads up that I was kind of over the marriage. And unbeknownst to me, like I told you, I had just had the baby. My baby was like 3 months old. And I kind of told him, like, this is not working out. I didn't know, because of course I had credit cards and things in my name. He stopped paying them. So even before we got divorced, he started fucking up my credit. And I had great credit. So that was the beginning of it. Then during the divorce, I had to, because I didn't want to disrupt the children. It was already enough that I was getting divorced from their father. So I bought my ex-husband out of my house. Okay. So I had to then, so here it is, we're getting divorced. The settlement agreement is that I buy him out of the house. He pays child support. He does this and this. Well, he decided he wasn't going to pay child support, but I still was required to buy him out in a certain span of time. So I had to hustle and do this. But in the midst of it, I ended up getting a jacked up rate because now my credit was already tarnished because of all the things that he was doing. Now, here it is. I had to borrow money from friends and family because, again, he ended up, unbeknownst to me, closing out the accounts, taking all the money out, left me with $19, and I had no job. So here it is. Now I'm like, okay, clearly, I have a degree. I know what I'm doing. Now I have to rush back to work, put my infant in childcare, try to get things on my feet. And so all the while, he's fighting me in court over bullshit. So even though at one point we were divorced within 8 or 9 months, and sure enough, we continued to go back and forth in court between him and then his current wife for maybe about another 8 years. 8 years. And so to get back on my feet, it took me, I want to say, about 5 years. About 5 years to get to a point where I was like, all right, this is behind me. But you have to understand, I was paying boatloads of money to attorneys because he kept taking me to court just for whatever, or I had to take him to court. It just was crazy.
Do you feel that the attorneys played a big role in you guys continuing to go back to court?
No. No, my ex-husband, because he was so financially stable, and he was just trying to fuck with me. He did it as a retaliation mechanism. He just did it to just be very difficult.
Okay.
Yeah, it was. That's what I'm saying. He was very strategic in everything he did. So he felt like that was the best way to get back at me because I left him. He was mad that I left him.
Okay.
So Yvonne, you said that, you pretty much spent the majority of your life married. So when it came to being single again, did you have to kind of retrain yourself and look at the world completely different once you walked out of that courtroom and now you're a single woman? Did you feel like you were starting over, or you just felt like you could just build from where you were?
I did feel like I was kind of starting anew, because here it is. It was just me and the kids. He had stopped seeing them. Even though he had visitation, he just stopped seeing them. He was with someone else. I mean, it was kind of like he left me, so he left them. And so it was just me and the kids. And so I really focused on, all right, let me raise my kids. And I was dating my current husband at the time, along with another gentleman at the time. So, I was kind of, handling all of those different things.
You didn't have that many hot girl summers? You didn't have no hot girl summers?
Okay, you know what? To be honest, I've had a lot of hot girl summers. You asked me if I was married, but you didn't ask me if I was faithful.
Oh shit, I like that shit.
Well,
yaddy nights.
Okay.
like Kelvin said, tell the truth, shame the devil.
There you go.
Go ahead, drink up, Yvonne. Drink up.
Shit, man.
Don't drink, Yvonne. Don't drink up.
There you go.
So yes, I have some really hot girls.
You gotta say that shit. You gotta say long time ago. That's the way we gotta say that long.
And some hot girl summer, wind up winters, freak out falls, sprung springs. Yup. Name it, I had it. And if I couldn't drop it like it's hot, I laid it like it was warm.
Yvonne, let me ask you this. So for people that may be going through this now, right? Because you can see the guys on the show, Rodney and Dee. They have Rodney's remarried. Dee is on his way. Great family men, great husbands and fathers. For people that are going through this right now, for people that are going through right now,
what he said?
talking about
Don't do
lips.
it. Don't do it.
But
Let me say something. Well, all right. Okay, there's certain drawbacks. All right, if we're just going to talk about it, certain things with marriage, the benefits are, God forbid something happens to you, you or your spouse can make those decisions in those times of need. Everything else is really self-directing. If you want to leave the person money, put it in a will. If you want to make sure they're set up, put it in a will. Everything, life insurance is self-directing. You name them in your life insurance. The main benefits of a marriage is for that person to make a decision when you haven't lined yourself up. But if you've lined yourself up correctly, your will designates what person you want to do anything in your life. So what really is the benefit of the marriage? Think about that. The marriage is really just an institution that was built so that way it could be a little bit more profitable, and also for men to have ownership of women. We were chattel.
Okay, I was going in a different direction at first.
Yeah, I don't know where that came from, but
yeah, I was going. So, and first of all, I like to thank Rodney's wife and Derek's wife, everybody for watching tonight. And thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't agree with that statement. The thing is, too, like sometimes when we're damaged from our past, we sometimes we can cloud our future. But the thing is, if you meet somebody that basically is on your level and not on no BS, I used to think I wasn't going to never remarry. But when I met my wife, that changed. And the thing is, I mean, I'm in an amazing marriage. When I look back at my old marriage, this is an amazing marriage. I'm very happy, you know.
But let me ask you something. Whether you were married to her or not, you and her, the same people, if you were together, you would still be just as happy. You know, legally marrying her doesn't change the feelings.
You can't
because,
say.
I mean, I'm honestly, I'm just playing devil's advocate because I'm remarried too. I did it again too. And I'm being funny, you know what I mean? But I'm remarried as well. But what I'm saying to you, if we want to really look at it, you know, just legally, you can set that person up in every capacity to have the benefits of that marriage without having that contract.
Now, I think now, you know me, I believe marriage is a godly institution. So I think the commitment there, because you know what it is? I think people that just wind up living together are like restricted free agents. I think it's something different when you make that commitment to somebody. I think that's the thing.
Listen, I've been there. I've lived with people, multiple, unfortunately, or unfortunately, how you want to consider it. And I can tell you now that I'm married, I can tell you that I personally, I do see the difference. But it's more of a spiritual.
There's a difference.
You know what I mean? It's just a mindset that's a lot different. You know. But
you could have that mindset without being married, and I'm just playing devil's advocate.
I understand, and I dig that you're doing that, and it's true. But it's kind of like the difference between raising somebody else's kids and having your own. You know what I'm saying? It's just like or looking out for other people's children and having your own. It's just a different thing when it's yours. It's just a different spiritual just experience to me. You know, I mean, at the end of the day, when I'm with someone, when I wasn't married with them, you know, the breakup was cut and dry, you know, and maybe on some level, that's more honest in a way, you know, because you don't have all of these ties, these financial ties and legal ties together. But it doesn't. But there's something different, because remember, you know, there was a time when us as Black people, when we were getting married and we didn't have any, you know, laws behind us, you know what I mean? It wasn't recognized. We still jump in the broom because it just meant something different, you know. So I still espouse to that, man. I just still think that there's a little bit of a difference there, you know, spiritually. That's all.
Yeah, I think
Yvonne is telling me to be out here giving out some community dick. That's what she's telling me.
I'm just saying.
Jamie, run the scroll. Run the drink scroll.
Make sure you put something on it. If you just how you're gonna do that route. Hey, you know what's so funny? I was away in Dallas for a bachelor party. My nephew's getting married. I'm the best man, right? Have you guys seen this? I'm so curious. See these things?
Dude wipes.
Yeah.
I know what they are. I know what they are.
For men's junk. Isn't that crazy?
It's a
So
towel.
So Damon, make sure you get these if you're going to be giving out community. Dick. Dude wipes. That way your junk is nice and clean.
Oh man.
Oh my God.
Oh man,
I want everybody to know that this is going to be the spinoff.
I thought this was a divorce
the Yvonne
segment.
reality show is being promoted tonight.
Yeah.
The Yvonne reality show.
No, we can talk about divorce. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry. They're having a little fun. Just have a little jokey.
No, I'm just
friends,
messing.
like who kept the friends in the divorce? You know,
Who got the what? Sorry.
The friends. You know,
Nah,
sometimes
because they usually pick a side. Yeah, they pick a
Yeah.
No,
side.
they pick teams.
I'm not gonna get slapped, Shauna.
Yeah.
Nah, but I will tell you this. You said your divorce took 8 months to finish out.
Well, the divorce, but the actual us separating longer than that because he just wasn't letting go. He just wasn't letting go. So
I'm talking about the actual divorce process of going to
the
court.
divorce process, I started the process in August of 2004. Our stipulation of settlement is signed in February of 2005. The judge finally signed the papers by July 20th of 2005. So the entire span of that was 11 months. Now, I continued to battle him for years after, even though our divorce was done.
Even
we still had the house, we still had children, we still had things that were kind of intertwined that had to. And
so you're
it was
still
just
going back to family court and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The thing is, I'm be honest with you, Yvonne. I think that's light because mine took 5 years.
Good Lord.
5 years.
Well, was she fighting you?
Well, we had a custody battle as well, but
So the thing is, he tried to do that. He tried to do that with me.
Yeah.
But he realized, and his attorney even said he's just doing it to really fuck with you. He didn't really want the kids. He was trying to use it as leverage against me.
But
some men really want their children.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
There goes the
And
family pick sides.
Yeah, family and friends do pick sides.
They do, absolutely.
They do pick sides, and sometimes they'll actually come into court and testify against you as well.
On some bullshit.
Listen,
on some bullshit, yeah.
My former mother-in-law took me to court when my ex-husband became disabled. She took me to court for visitation. I'm like, well, goddamn, like I can't stay out of court.
Yeah,
I mean, if I wasn't in court for him, I was in with her.
Yvonne,
So yeah,
let me ask you something.
I get
Let
it.
me ask you a question, Yvonne. When you drive past the courthouse, I know my man Rod now. I get the shivers.
Yeah, I still get cold sweats.
Let me tell you something. My stomach sinks and the hair on my back of my neck raises. I'm just like, I never want to see that shit again.
Correct.
Ever.
Correct. I tell people that all the time. I say once you go through it, you ain't trying to go in that building ever again for nothing. Let me tell you something. If I drove past and I had to go to the bathroom, I'll pee myself. I won't go in there. I ain't going in there.
I work in Brooklyn. I don't even drive down Court Street.
Yeah, I don't want to hear nothing about
listen, I was in Supreme Court, family court, and criminal court.
Yeah.
I all over.
Wow.
Just you name it, I was there.
And I'm gonna tell you right now, that family court, I don't care what nobody said, that family court is a shit show. That is a shit show.
Who you telling? I had somebody even approach me offering to kill my husband for some money. I was like, this is crazy.
That probably was a setup.
I know it was.
That was a setup.
That was a setup.
Okay,
but that's my whole point. It is crazy enough.
Yo,
so listen, Yvonne, you maintained, you didn't fall off. You didn't sink in depression. You maintained your look. You maintained your career. You maintained.
She got a drinking problem. She got a little drinking problem.
You know what? Calvin, I won't own all of that. I won't own all of that. I appreciate that that's the appearance I gave, but I won't own all of that. Because let me tell you something. Some days I was depressed. Some days it was difficult. Some days it was hard to move on. It was not easy. Right. And so, yeah, I just felt like I had no choice but to do what I had to do to maintain my family and my household. But deep down, it was a struggle. You have to understand, I told you, I was still in love with this man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you have to remember that.
We see you self-medicate.
No. This ain't self-medicating. This is a grown woman enjoying a grown
conversation right there. That's all that is.
What do you say to somebody going through the process now, Yvonne? Somebody that literally doesn't know what to do. They're afraid and they're at this breaking point right now. Any advice that you can share to somebody that may be listening that's saying, I'm about to go through this path?
Well, I would say before you actually go down that path, if you have the chance, because sometimes you don't have the chance to prepare yourself for it. But if you have the chance to prepare yourself, make sure that you have some financial money set aside separately, so that way you can at least float your boat for at least 6 months, if possible. Make sure you're prepared in as far as your character, on what you're doing, who you're around, and how you're moving, because all of that will come into play. Like, you really have to set yourself up to be the epitome of a good person, have values, have this, have that. You have to kind of show your best self. And because if you're going to have a full-on battle, everything is going to come into play. I got to tell you something. A lot of things that helped me in my divorce was the fact that I had police reports this thick against my ex-husband.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some things like that helped me and didn't help him.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? Because we could, there's a whole bunch of he said, she said. But when they look at your history and your track record, that's how they gauge a lot of things too. But in New York, a lot of that doesn't necessarily play into, you know, how things are divvied up. They don't care if he cheated on you. Adultery is not a factor in New York. That's
Correct.
not a big deal.
And she's 100% right. It doesn't define you as a mother, and it doesn't define you as a father. It plays no role. It's just grounds for divorce. Yep. Just grounds for divorce. That's it.
What I tell a lot of young ladies when I meet them, I always tell them, like, especially like my young staff, I always tell them when they talk about moving their boyfriends and stuff like that. So I always have you some fuck you money. You don't have if you don't have fuck you money, you're making a grave mistake and getting involved in some deep relationship with somebody off the top. So
I agree. I agree. I believe everyone should be able to stand on their own 2 feet before they decide they want to take on another 2.
My man said, marry a military dude if you want to win. What do you say? Bring it up again, Jamie.
Want to win in court, marry a military career person.
Facts, so they got to get 50%. God damn it.
Yes.
You didn't get all that.
Yeah, he was already out of the military.
Oh, damn, you should have waited him out.
He was already out of the military, but he was technically, he had already had his claim going in. So at that point, he was considered 60% disabled. So he was already making bank from them too. So yeah, military is not a bad guy to get a divorce from, I guess.
Oh, hell no, get that money.
Nope.
Put me a military woman tonight.
What's the biggest misconception people have about divorce in your estimation? Because the stigma is not there like it used to be 30 years ago, right?
It sure isn't, man. People just getting divorced like they just handing them bad boys out at, like, you know,
well, more than
something like a chicken sandwich or something. You know?
More than 60% of marriages
I think
fail.
that for some.
Say it again.
Excuse me.
Robin. Somebody was saying something. Rob, you said.
No, I just said more than 60% of marriages fail. That's what I said.
Absolutely. And out of the 40% that is still married, how many of them are happy? How many of them are faithful? How many of them are really operating as married couples? I have a cousin who actually got married at the age of 20 and never got divorced. And the man died 30 years later. Never got divorced. But on the books, it looks like she was married for 30 years.
Correct.
But never lasted.
What do you think about, we were talking earlier about this Robert De Niro situation, you know? His wife, he got divorced, and they had $500 million in assets. She walked away with $6 million for a new house and $1 million a year. You know, do you feel that was that she was due more or less than that? And they got divorced in New York. What do you think? How do you think she made out in the settlement, or was it fair? They had a prenup, by the way.
Yeah, but see, that's the problem. She's a dumbass. She should have never had a prenup, because then she would have been entitled to a little bit more than that. I mean, so quick.
I thought you was cool.
Now we gotta change the game.
Let me explain why.
Go ahead. Yeah, then I'm next. You go first, and I'm next.
Here we go.
I knew this was gonna go bad. I knew this was gonna go bad.
You didn't even let me finish.
Go ahead. I'm gonna let you finish, but remember, I'm going next. Go ahead. Go ahead.
You can go first. I could go second. I don't care.
It don't matter to me. I'll go right now. Here's the thing. Anybody that doesn't sign a prenup, knowing what that guy is worth, you're looking for a come up. And I don't care what anybody says. Now, first of all, I think she did do well, because I don't know too many people that make $1 million a year and getting $6 million for a house. I don't know anybody that gets that. I'm not finished. I'm
gonna let you live.
No, thank you. I appreciate it. The thing is that when you go into a marriage with somebody, then you saying that, listen, she should clean him out. That's not cool.
I'm not saying that.
Well, you say she should put not for signing the prenup. That's what's kind of what they're saying.
Yeah, because let me explain why. Because here it is. I think that the prenup, even if she signed one, should have been kind of structured a little bit more fairly. And let me explain why. Because Go ahead. You can wrench up your face and furrow your eyebrows.
I didn't say a word. Just go ahead and talk. Go ahead.
No, the thing is that I believe that, okay, they were married for 20-something years. 24. They were married for, so they had children together. She raised those children. He has been an actor and a working actor throughout the entire span of their relationship. So she took a lot of sacrificing in her career so that way he could do what he had to do. Okay, so just keep that in mind because I know what it was like for me.
Go ahead. You don't compare Robert De Niro's marriage to ours. Go ahead.
What's that?
I said don't compare Robert De Niro's marriage to ours.
No, but she's saying
hear me out. Hear me out. So the thing is that do I think it's fair? Not really. Because he is worth that much money. She's been accustomed to a certain lifestyle. Is $6 million decent? Yeah, but if she's accustomed to living a $500 million lifestyle, $6 million is really a big difference than what she's accustomed to. Now, should she get half of what he has? Absolutely not. I don't agree with that. But I think that she could have gotten or should have gotten more because she was with him for a long period of time. You know what I mean? She was there for a long period of time. I think she should have gotten a little bit more than that. Should she have gotten half? No.
She got it. She got it for 24 years. She lived.
Would you have signed the prenup, Yvonne? Would you have signed the prenup?
No, because neither of us had shit.
No, you're talking about if you were with Robert De Niro, would you sign a prenup?
Would you sign a prenup philosophically?
I mean, now, yeah, but I mean, I would make it a little different because I make it beneficial that if we did get divorced, it's going to be worth it for me.
Well, then he might not sign it because it's too much in your favor.
That's all right.
Then you don't get married. That's the end of it.
Yeah, but that's just it. Like,
but couldn't she got a post, something called a post nub, right? The post nub.
Well, you can get it. Let me explain something to you. Anything is negotiable. You can long as both parties agree. You can do anything, long as both parties are willing to sign it. But the thing is this: if the reason she got what she got is because she signed a prenup. So now we can't say that we're going to erase all of that and she signed a prenup. She was with this man 24 years. She lived like a queen for 24 years. The thing is, we don't know if he was the problem, she was the problem, or both people was the problem. But the bottom line is she signed that paper, and that's the end of it. She still worked. She still made out, in my opinion. I think she made out very well.
I mean, she's okay, but I don't know.
No, she's more than okay. Because you could, if you invest $1 million, you could turn $1 million into $4 million with the right choices.
Yes, but I'm saying she was living a better lifestyle than what she is going to live now that they're not together.
And that's the consequences of divorce.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, but you're asking me, I don't think she stayed out as well because honestly, if she could have, she should have just stayed her ass right there.
Well, Yvonne, let me say this. First of all, on behalf of my crew members and myself and our producer, thank you so much for coming on. It's so great to see you. I think it's an excellent interview. Thank you for being that candid and open as I knew you would. And you're welcome here anytime. You're certainly the best.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys.
You're better than his last guest. You're better than his last guest.
We're not gonna have the disrespect. We're not gonna have the disrespect.
I know him. That he's a good guy.
Yvonne,
he's just not a good interview. That's all.
Okay. I also want to shout out to my boy who's watching this tonight, who just got disrespected by my people. I just want to say that
he can make a comeback. He can make a comeback.
He come back and try to do it again. Yeah. But Yvonne, I want to thank you for coming on the show and being so open. I really appreciate it. A lot of people can't do that. So I give you a lot of respect for that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, where's the party at, Yvonne? Because everybody, your friends just chime in and say you be having
Yvonne, we got to do live from your house one night. The crew, you got to have
listen. I'm open anytime. We could do it right here.
Yep. Definitely.
Look at Marsha. Marsha saying your joints is lit. Marsha, come on, Marsha. Tell them to have a party, Marsha. We in there.
Oh yeah, Yvonne gonna have a party. Yvonne, listen. Like I said, great wife, great family, kids that are overachieving kids because their parents did great as well. So love you, Yvonne. Thank you so much. And listen, keep watching, subscribe to us, make sure and check us out. All right.
Thank you, fellas. Have a good evening.
Good evening, Yvonne. Have a good night.
All right, take care.
All right. That was dope, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
A little different perspective on the whole take and everything. You guys
married? Me and D, you think we had over 100 conversations about divorce? Over 100?
100? Yeah. I mean, motherfucker. At least 1,001 shit about that.
The thing is, like, I'll be honest with you. I respect. You know, I can totally understand what she's been through. You know what I'm saying? I went through it myself. But the thing is, I just feel like in this day and time, like people really have to know what they're getting into when they get married. I mean, she got married very young. She got married even younger than me. That's really young. You know what I'm saying?
Younger than me.
Correct. I don't tell my sons to get married that young. If they do, then I supported it. But you know, that's really young. I think it's not like back in the days in the 60s and the 70s where people were getting married at 20 and it was all right and all that.
Right.
The game has changed now. It's totally different times now. You know, and you know, she had a husband that was a control freak, you know what I'm saying? So that didn't help, you know.
21 is way too young.
Yeah, 21 is way too young. It's definitely too young.
Well, you know what I realized my father was by the time he was 22 years old, he was married, he had my sister and I, and he was a military Air Force veteran and had a fighting a mortgage. So he spent he said he always known responsibility. So once my mother passes of them, my father was living that life like, you know, I'm free, like you know.
Johnny ain't lying about that shit. I agree with that shit.
Down. You know, keep people from tearing up their life, right? Yeah.
Word up, man.
But you don't really know yourself yet, I'm sure.
No, you don't. And
your 20s your mistake years. That's all.
Correct.
That was just a mistake.
Get out your
You're figuring shit out.
You still I mean, what they said that the average adult brain doesn't even mature until he's 25. Right, correct. 25. Right. So the thing is, now you're getting married, you got these kids. You at 21, you should still be out doing your thing. But now you have all this responsibility thrust upon you, and some people overload. And then guess what? People have different interpretations of what marriage should be. Sometimes the man got one interpretation and the woman got another. So sometimes it doesn't work out. Especially once you start growing together.
Oh yeah.
No question.
You know,
middle aged folks then, man, you know, get that midlife crisis going then too. You know,
those are young dudes, man. You supposed to be knocking down everything, goddammit.
Yeah.
Have all that community dick.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get the throw just for knowing D.
Yeah. But to everybody out there thinking about getting married, my best advice to you is 1, not get married very young, and 2, understand what divorce is in case it happens to you. Because most time you will not find out until you are going through it, what the laws really say.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And then the older people that's our age, like I still say, get a prenup and then to get a postnuptial while you in it, because you might start to achieve more things.
Correct.
So
correct. But it's harder. It's harder to get somebody to sign a postnup.
A postnup, you have good luck with that.
Good luck with that, D. A prenup, I swear up and down by prenups all day. I say get a prenup, and I think that regular people think that's only for rich people. It's not true. It's not true.
Yeah. And
if you if say you make $60,000 and you lose half of that shit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Before marriage,
Yeah, the thing is, usually before you get married, I think like usually the reverend that marries you gives you some sort of. But he don't talk about divorce in that.
Man. Nah, you need to talk to somebody else besides that reverend. No disrespect to Kelvin and his.
No. Let me say this. Let me say this. I'm gonna tell you honestly. What happens is, I don't officiate ceremonies unless people take premarital counseling now, and I make sure that they go to counselors that are like legitimate counselors that are trained in the field in some regard. You know what I mean? Now, there's certain people that have been deputized to do it. Like you guys remember I had John and Ebony on. They're under a program that has made them counselors. There's certain places that if you got 30 years in, they will actually train you or whatever like that, you know, because I am not married. So I don't stand before married people and tell them what it's going to be like.
I think that's dope, Calvin, because what was it? Ebony and what was his name again?
John.
Ebony and John. I think they're an excellent example of a devoted married couple. And I think married couples need to see that as an example. You know, is everybody going to be able to mimic it? No. But the thing is, you should get another thing too. Some of us come from backgrounds where our parents ain't together, so we don't have too much of a influence in marriage. So that bring that to the table when you get married too.
And I think the other thing, Rodney, is this: if you marry the wrong person, now whether or not you know, but if you marry the wrong person, you can't make that right. You know, you can marry a person who's not conducive to marriage.
Correct. And the thing is, that's why you got to pay attention before you get married.
And I got to shout out my niece who just chimed in. My niece is watching tonight, so got to shout her out. That's my niece Marie.
Just pay attention to people's
Her parents
behavior.
had to be old.
You know?
Her parents had to be old, man. Named her Marie. Parents are old.
Mine wants to know if we could talk about Kelvin in the studio.
That's my goddaughter.
Right now, y'all don't know. Y'all remember Baseline Studios with Jay-Z? Y'all remember that?
No,
it don't have nothing to do with
That's
me.
not where you at.
I just asked if y'all remember. You know what I'm saying?
Derek said that's not where you at.
Does the studio look fly though? Does it look fly?
It looked like you in a cubicle to me at the office. That's what it looked like to me.
You know what? I can't ever have nothing. Y'all don't ever let me have nothing.
Yeah, Sean said my grandparents and parents were death do us part. So over here, those are the rules. I hear you, Sean.
Yeah, that's dope. That's dope right there. You know what I'm saying? It should be death to your part.
Yeah, I produced a Jamie wants to move on, man. So I'm gonna let's move on real quick to another topic, man. You know, Jamie is a motherfucker ain't never gonna get married. So he said let's move the
Rodney got a good agent for real.
Yeah, I told you, my agent was on Jamie today, boy.
Shout out to grandparents, man. That was a good marriage.
Absolutely. Shout out to all the people holding it down and got long, successful marriages, devoted marriages.
Yeah, Granny Liz still with us, man. She's 95, I think, Shabab, something like that.
Wow, God bless her.
Word up. My Gemini older sister there. All right. Jamie, here I go, Jamie. Racism has been declared a New York City public health crisis. Man, did they just find that out?
That I don't know. I don't know.
Old news.
Correct.
That's Eric Garner. There's a damn public health crisis. You know what I mean? Shit, man.
Yeah,
you know?
I don't know how they're so late to the president.
Are they saying that scientifically, literally? Like, what do they mean?
No, I think them being late is racist. That's what I think.
Now they say mental health with that stuff too, man. Like we know the stuff, the challenges of our racism, man. Challenges of housing, how to educate your children. We knew this was a crisis. We've been shouting this out for how long? We knew. Man. The white people just get like it's a new medical disease. Oh shit! Racism.
With that declaration, what do they propose as a solution? What's the pragmatic, response to that?
They're gonna count how many people died from COVID. That's what I've been figuring out, man.
Yes,
that's
I agree.
That at the end of the day, that's what we're talking about. How many black folks died from COVID? You know what I mean? That's why it's a public health crisis.
Okay. Got you.
You know what I mean?
Got you.
See, the thing is, I had this conversation with D, like when COVID first broke out. D, I don't know if you remember, I said, if black people don't get more concerned about their health after seeing what COVID did, then, they're never going to understand how important health is. You know what I mean? I remember in my neighborhood, I saw more people walking than I ever did. I thought there was like a walkathon through my neighborhood as much people were getting out there exercising and stuff.
Well, speaking of racism.
Racism just walked on by.
That is interesting, Derek. That my man did not come any other time than right now.
Message.
That one said, he's like, they own me. They own me. This reverse racism. These niggas own me.
Yeah, unbelievable, man.
That was a cry for help, Derek.
Oh
man, I love this show. I love this show.
Segment, boy. Wow,
yeah,
it worked out perfect timing, man.
Yeah,
and we don't plan this, people.
No,
a random white man just walk out when he walks.
That was spontaneous.
We got a random white man that walk out on our racism segments.
Nah.
but go ahead, bro. I'm sorry.
Yeah. The thing is, we have to become. Hey, my man.
Yeah, fuck that. This is my segment.
Oh man,
I'm so crying,
it's just we have to get more health conscious. You know what I'm saying? We have to, in our neighborhoods, we don't make the best food choices.
But Rodney, when are we gonna do it though? I mean, we was raised on honey buns and quarter waters and stuff.
I know. I'll be honest with you, them shits was healthier back then than they are now.
Yo, I know.
Ain't about that shit.
Now, man. You're not even lying, man. It didn't kill us.
Back then, did you see all these people with diabetes like you see now?
Not like now.
And everybody was eating honey buns and all that every day, and Suzy Q's, everything wasn't even. But now they made everything plastic. Now,
that's true. Yeah. That's true.
So
that's real.
Yeah, everybody.
We got to stop eating out the Chinese restaurant. I don't even know what rib tips are.
20 years ahead of you. 20 years ahead of you.
We got to stop going to Popeyes too. You know what I'm saying?
5 years ahead of you.
So because big pharma, the pharmaceutical companies is making a killing off of us, man.
No question.
But now they're gonna have studies on this racism thing in New York, public health crisis. I mean, we know this. Like California's finally admitted with the education, with the books and stuff like that. It's stuff that Black folks knew that existed, and we know what was killing us more than goddamn anything else out there was race. Y'all been killing us for years, so we knew.
Yeah.
So it's not nothing new. Thank you, white people, coming to the finally coming to the party. So hope you'll figure out something and whatever the fuck y'all gonna do with your time. But let's move on to some other topics. My man Jamie wanted me to get to here. Governor Ron DeSantis offers a bonus to anti-vax cops to come and work in Florida. Thoughts, gentlemen? Ronnie, you're an ex-cop. Would you go work in Florida?
Hell no. No. No, the thing is, let's be sensible about this. Is $5,000 enough for you to relocate yourself and your family, if you have a family or whatever? To me, that's not.
That's the bonus, $5,000.
$5,000. That's what it is. And the thing is, he's just making an offer. It's nothing written in stone or whatever. I mean, you know that DeSantis is a anti-vax state, anti-mask. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it doesn't surprise me. He's just trying to rally more base. But NYPD is, you know, there's some people on the department. Well, actually, it's a lot. I think they had another mass retirement, like about 600 people left, from what I'm hearing, allegedly, and you know, put their papers in and retired. And I'm hoping that the cops don't get too overzealous with this and do a job action, because if they did, and this would be very dangerous because people could get hurt. They did a job action, they could bring the city to its knees. You know what I'm saying? Because if they knew that there wasn't no cops on the street, that would be, and we're going to be the ones that's going to suffer as the most of that. So hopefully they don't do that and they can resolve this thing. But it's definitely causing. I'm in touch with a lot of people that still are on the job, and a lot of people are not very happy at all. So,
Let me ask you a question. Right? All right. I mean, do you think the police department is going to get rid of that college stuff and start? Because we know, and get more of the young people that with this new thing. But we don't know how the new mayor, what's going to happen. But if things stay as they are right now,
you mean get rid of the college requirement to be a police officer?
Yeah, with all these cops retiring, like these CEOs. Like, let's look at Rikers right now. Rikers is fucked up. They got inmates taking badges off of dudes, officers, shirts and stuff like that. Yeah, inmates are running sound. Some of them running certain blocks in Rikers and everything. Do you think they're going to take, like, I think already corrections waived their college thing. Now they're looking for, if you got a heartbeat.
Yeah. The thing is, that's going to be dangerous too, though, D, because the thing is, I can't remember what year it was. I remember the department was desperate for hiring because they cut the wage. And then they started getting a lot of people that were coming on the job, and then they were getting in trouble because they weren't screening them properly. So you were actually bringing people on that actually had been arrested in the past and, you know, came on the job and then were doing criminal acts. So then you're going to just breed more corruption in the department if you don't vet people properly, you know, so that might be a dangerous look. But I think what they could do is I remember years ago, they had a thing where they were pulling people that were already in the city system, and you could basically walk onto the police department after a certain amount of time in the city system, like they were doing that with school safety. I don't know if you remember that, D.
Yeah, I remember.
Where if you could do 2 years in school safety, you could take the police exam and then roll over to the police department. You know, they were
still doing that in the early 2000s.
Yeah, you know why they stopped that?
They stopped. Why they stopped it?
But the job was getting too.
I don't understand why weekly testing can't be an option. What kind of testing are we talking about?
I'm gonna get back. I know what you're talking about. I'm gonna ride to finish the statement for real quick.
No, the thing is that they stopped pulling people from school safety because the job was getting too dark. That's why they did it.
Oh, you're right. I remember that.
Yeah.
You're right. That was 05, 06, somewhere around there.
Around that time, yeah.
I was at Lincoln. I remember that people. It was like a whole bunch of school safety people just leaving. They're all black and brown.
Correct. Because school safety is predominantly female and black. Yep. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely right.
Getting too dark.
Weekly testing, what they was doing, Derek, they was doing like weekly testing. Like my job was doing PCR testing. So depends when your shift was. And that police department is different. I'm just doing my job. So if you worked on Monday, you had to get a PCR test done on Friday or Saturday to return back to work on Monday. So the police department, before your last your last day off, say if you had a Wednesday, Thursday, whatever. So you got to get tested. You got to come back, whatever that day was.
Correct.
You got to come back and show that you had a PCR test. And then now they got the system. I'll tell you the name. Like you got to upload it to the system. I'll tell you right now, it's on my phone. It's called Return Safe and stuff like that. You got to show these things that you test and stuff like that. So they did it all that.
Yeah,
coming up this week. No, it's coming up this week because I'm going through the same thing at my job. So by 5 p.m. on Friday, you have to either get first vaccine shot, stuff like that.
Correct. What they were doing at the police department, you're right. They would come in once you came back off your days off, you had to be tested. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, but you didn't have to bring back a test. They were testing you at work, from what I understand.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So the thing is, which was a problem too, because they were only testing the unvaccinated and they weren't testing people that were vaccinated, even though people could still catch it, even though they're vaccinated. Okay. And then the thing is, everybody knew that you were unvaccinated at the job, which I don't know if you guys remember this thing called a HIPAA law or whatever. It just totally went out the window because of COVID. Yeah. So everybody's business is out there now, whether you're vaccinated or not. Yeah. So unvaccinated cops had a problem with that too, saying that everybody knows I'm not vaccinated because you're swabbing me right by a supervisor that's on the job, and everybody knows I'm not vaccinated. So there was issues with that as well. Yeah. You know,
it's crazy times being brothers.
Yeah, it is. It's going to get a little worse too, but I hope everybody works it out for everybody's safety.
Let's get on some fun shit real quick, man. Mike Tyson says he's coming back into the ring. I think this January the fight Logan Paul, one of Derek's favorite boxers of this age. He's into these internet boxers and he thinks it's great for boxing. What's your thoughts? I'm going to Derek on this one first, man.
Fantastic for boxing, brother. You know why? Because y'all don't like boxing. I'll get y'all in front of a damn screen.
Roddy, he's talking to you now. We go to boxing matches. Oh, Derek, so slow down. Me and Rodney go to boxing matches. I go to Vegas to boxing matches. I love what boxing was. I can't fuck with boxing no more.
Listen,
just like Kelvin don't like the Jets anymore. Listen, I can't fuck with boxing anymore.
I'm being a little facetious about this, man. This is entertainment. This is not boxing. You got a retired boxing and an internet star. They could be playing tiddlywinks or whatever they could be playing. It wouldn't be any more professional in that arena. So I don't really look at it as boxing. The only thing the only connection with boxing is Mike Tyson's past. You know what I mean? You got at the end of the day, you got not the
gloves, not the ring, not the referee. None of that shit counts.
Listen. It's a sparring match, bro. You know what I'm saying? Would you pay to watch people spar? No, you probably wouldn't pay to watch a spar thing.
Well, last time I checked, people that spar wear headgear. They're not wearing headgear.
Okay, so fine. You know, and knock yourself out, man. You know what I'm saying?
But Derek, the problem is, I think the point that they keep making is, if the sport needs this to draw attention, then it's guaranteed.
I don't think that it needs this to draw attention.
It does for me.
It does. Because it's not a boxer out there right now that's going to draw a boxing party.
You need now. See, that's you just told on yourself. You just told yourself. You need a party to watch boxing, right?
No. I'm talking about for the common fan. It's no boxer. It's no. What I said, Derek. What I said, Derek. What I said was there's not a boxer in boxing currently.
Derek. What is boxing's Super Bowl? What is boxing's biggest event?
It depends, man. Everyone is when the champions get together.
Well, you just had Wilder and Fury. That would be the pinnacle, because back in the day, the heavyweight division was the crown, right?
Here's the thing with boxing. Boxing needs some sort of centralized regulation or something. You know what I mean? Right now, every boxer. Right now, you have different independent promoters going at it. They reportedly told I don't know. I missed that part, but right now you got different promoters that are just doing their own thing, you know, and there is no centralized, promoter. You know, like if the NFL, you know, you can go to the Fox, you can go to, to whoever, to the major networks or whatever to get it promoted and whatnot. But boxing just doesn't have that anymore, you know. Right now it's just very decentralized. So you have to kind of watch. Listen. It's tough. I get it. It's tough. And this has been the worst. Listen, this has been the worst year of boxing that I've seen in a long time. All right, I'll give you that. But boxing doesn't need Don King.
That's the last thing it needs. It doesn't need Don King.
It don't need him, but it needs somebody like a Don
King. Don King was one of the most corrupt promoters in the history of boxing.
I get what she's saying. We understand what Don King is. But I think I know what you're saying with a promoter.
You mean that he put together better fights?
Better fights.
But also, D, they were better fighters back then.
Yeah. Rodney got a
You know what
point.
I'm saying?
Why is that?
The thing is, okay,
let me
Derek.
tell you something. What you had back then was you had major media companies that were backing the actual fighters. They said, Don King, is this the guy? They said, yes, this is the guy. Okay, everybody, this is the guy. You don't have that right now in boxing. You know what I mean?
There's no star power.
Is fantastic for boxing.
There's no star power in boxing. There's no star.
He's
You have
right.
to wait for it to shake out. Fox is now, let me tell you, Fox is now get involved, right? And you gotta watch it out. I mean, you can laugh, man, but you know,
Derek, you don't have a problem with two YouTubers putting the boxing game in a chokehold and commanding all the views, all the seats. They're paying the boxer to fight them.
Listen, of course I have a problem.
How do you not see boxing is in trouble?
But see, it's not boxing to me. That's not boxing. That is an event right there. That's something else.
But you said it was good for boxing.
Here's my thing. If it gets you involved in boxing, if it brings you in, brings a casual person in, fine. All right? Fine. Casual people is what make all sports go around. But the casual people.
Derek, the casual fan is only going to see the YouTuber. The casual fan ain't going to see.
Correct.
Let me ask you a question. All right, the casual fan is watching Super Bowl. The casual fan is watching the playoffs, right?
Yes, that's true.
But what happened to what did the NFL do? How long did the NFL work to get, let's say, females, to get the female audience? Think about what they did. All right, it took years for that to happen, and they had to cater to them.
But Derek,
boxing has to go.
I gotta tell you,
been around before we were born.
Derek, if you look at the top 12 things on TV, the first 8 are the NFL. In other words, their fan bases are so solidified. The Super Bowl is just icing on the cake.
Wonderful.
Boxing don't have that no more.
No, and I'm not saying it does, but I'm saying that it's still boxing is still here, it's still relevant.
Hopefully, you got another generation of Derek behind you, but there's not really.
Right?
I'm
not for myself, man. Come on. You got a white heavyweight now, so now maybe that'll help.
No, he's not a draw.
I don't know.
He's not a draw, bro. He's not a draw. Well, let's move on. We want to talk about some other great white men right now. Tom Brady threw a 600 touchdown, and the wide receiver, I think it was Dwight Evans, wasn't it? Gave the ball.
I think it was Evans.
Gave the ball to a fan. And the NFL or the Tampa Bay, who you want to blame it on, jerked this young boy, a young man, or whoever he was, and the balls were $500,000, and they gave like $35,000 worth of gifts. So,
$60,000. They gave him a Bitcoin worth $60,000.
Yeah.
They gave
Tom Brady threw that on the top.
Yeah, they gave him like some.
Tom Brady probably got 10,000 of motherfucking Bitcoin.
Well, look, he probably got more than that. A lot of sports fans get caught up in nostalgia and moments, and they want to meet. If you remember the boy that caught the ball, that Derek Jeter's home run ball, what was it, the 500th hit?
Yeah,
no, 3,000.
I'm sorry, excuse me, 3,000th hit. Mr. Jeter, you should have it. In other words, they just don't know. They bring it on themselves. So he settled for meeting Derek Jeter. You know what I'm saying? And so people don't realize that at the moment they get caught up in those events. But yeah, that ball is worth $500,000. And then I would open it up to bidding. And Tom Brady, could have bid for it himself, but I would let other people have an opportunity to do it as well.
This shit never happens to me, boy.
No, I wish it would have happened to me because I could tell you exactly what I had did.
Break it down, Rodney. What would you have done?
I'm going to break it down right now. If they had gave me that ball in the stands, first of all, I'd have been out of there like a bat out of hell. Because I'd have been like, because I wasn't going to stay there. They wouldn't even had a chance to negotiate with me. And the thing is, if they tried to stop me, they would have needed a SWAT team to stop me because I'd have been going crazy. But the thing is, that ball is worth more than $500,000 because we got things like, with the digital currency, NFTs and all that stuff. You could take pictures of that ball, sell those pictures for millions of dollars. It was a lot of money there. They ripped that guy off, and it's actually sad that he took advantage of him like that. But I would have been out of there. As soon as I got the ball, I've been dragging the kids up the steps. I'd have been out of there.
Word up. At least, man, he either got lifetime Super Bowl tickets or something.
Yeah, come on, man.
God damn.
Yeah.
He got season tickets to a season that's almost over.
How old was he?
I don't know how old he is, but his ass was dumb.
He was dumb. I was about to say dumb.
Yeah, he was dumb ass. He was dumb ass.
Whatever age he was dumb, stuck on stupid type
motherfucker. The thing is, when they came over to him to try to get the ball, shouldn't a light bulb had to went off and said, "Hey, this ball might be worth something," even if you didn't know it was the 600th touchdown. You don't, maybe you didn't know, but something would have said, "Wait a minute, they're trying to get this ball from me. Something ain't right." I'd have been out of there. I'd have grabbed that ball. I'd have ran out of there like a freak, like I was running from the police.
I think you just hit on it, man. You just hit. Maybe the guy didn't know. Maybe he didn't understand the moment. You know what I mean? And you have to allow for that, man. Just regular old casual fan ignorance.
Yeah.
All right. You know, that's just what it was. What in the world is going on with Kelvin's voice? We don't want to spike Barry White. Third cousin.
You know what I just realized? Everything that we said tonight, you know, I realized it's time for me to go back to my Jets. I can't leave them like that. Wow. I can't divorce my Jets. I can't do it. We have too much invested. I'm back.
Yeah.
Oh man.
No, Sean says in the moment you don't think that fast. That's correct. We had time when Monday.
Now when that security showed up.
No.
But again, a perfect example. We're Monday morning quarterbacks, right? You know what we
I get that.
What they should do.
I get that.
So you gotta allow.
No, I get that. But the thing is, at some point you should have realized when they were trying to get the ball from you, something wasn't right.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, when white people come up to me and try to negotiate, that means I have something. So, right there would let me know something ain't right. I need to get out of here with this ball. And we talk about it later on with my lawyer.
But you know what's different, Rodney? I think in baseball, they promote something that's going to happen. I don't know if people promoted this.
They know that
baseball, they'd be like
that 600th cut touchdown could have been scored in that game, right? That's what
I didn't hear that. Did y'all hear that beforehand?
No, I heard it.
I didn't know that. But you know what? On baseball, they put it up on the jumbotron and all.
Correct.
Well, before the game, like Barry Bonds is going for 73 home runs or whatever it was.
Listen, even if you didn't know with baseball, you're going to know in the moment because they're going to put it all up on the jumbotron and everything. Right. You're going to know how important that ball is. You know, I don't know if they do that with football. Yeah.
But Rodney, I don't think they took advantage of him. He just didn't know. He brought it on himself.
No, I think they took advantage of him. I'm still going to stick to that because they knew what it was. They knew exactly what that ball was. And they know that Tom Brady wanted that ball. They know that.
Right.
So they probably got in Evans' ass for giving it to the fan. Probably later behind the scenes.
Right. Evans gave him an autograph football, some other stuff too.
I'm not trying to hear that.
I ain't trying to hear that.
I know. I'm just saying he ain't no Hall of Famer, but I'm just saying like.
You know what I think? I think the camera phone destroyed the value of an autograph.
No.
Autograph you used to get an autograph just to show that you met the person.
Right, you got a point. I can see that.
No, it depends what they sign though.
No, correct. He's right.
Depends what they sign because you can sell that stuff. Depends what he signed.
Correct.
That's true.
Right, true.
If it's the game day.
But what I'm saying is, D, you're talking about for memorabilia's sake, an autograph with your name on it, which is what fans want, means nothing.
Yeah, that's nothing.
Somebody autograph something to you, there is no resale with that.
Take a picture and not turn it into an NFT. Then maybe does it have the same? Yeah. Then maybe we can kind of equate that. You know, make it sort of the equivalent. I don't know. That's interesting.
But see, this is the thing though, Rodney. You're a businessman, and you know you'd pay the least for something. If you could pay the least for it, you would, and that's what they did. That's what they did. In other words, it did.
No. It was great business on their part. I said that he was taken advantage of. He is, because you got to understand, like it's like Derek said, he's a regular fan. He's caught up in the moment or whatever, and they seized that moment. They didn't wait till after the game to talk to him to give him time to think about it. They didn't do any of that.
Right. And that's why you get representation.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying?
I'd have been out of there as soon as they had to say again.
Start the bidding.
The thing is this. Anytime people come up to you asking you for something that you have and they offering you something for it, there's value to it. So then I need to think about what I'm doing here. Let me leave and go home. Let me think this over. Let me make some phone calls and then we can talk. Because by the time I got home, I would have known exactly what it was worth.
Yep.
But like you said, you caught the fan out there. You know, we're gonna hit him with a whole bunch of, as D would say, temporary gratification. And then boom, you know, and they got him. They took advantage of him. Now these are millionaires taking advantage of a regular guy. I don't mean he might be a millionaire. He had some really close seats.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
they still took advantage of him. No matter how you look at it.
End zone seats ain't as expensive as 50-yard line seats.
That's true. That's true. That's
but
true.
you know, Tiger Tim said Gronk and someone else gave him a Bitcoin.
Yeah, that was cool. A consolation prize or something.
Yeah,
maybe,
yeah.
You know,
the thing is, he gonna have to wait on that money. I want that money. The money he would have got would have been right away.
You know who he need to contact?
He could have bought his own Bitcoin.
They used to play for the Lakers that they offered $81 million. He wound up turning it down and went to Boston for $5 million. Yeah. They need to hang out.
Don't be like Dennis Schroeder, man.
It's like record deals. Don't give me something that I could buy for myself if I make a lot of money. If I'm going to make a lot of money selling this ball, don't buy
you want the Cadillac that they give you.
I can buy my own Cadillac. Don't buy nothing for me. You know, I'm not no rapper. Don't buy me no chain.
Hey, think about it like this, right? If Gronk gave him a Bitcoin, maybe Gronk only paid $8,000 for that Bitcoin back then.
Probably did. That's what I'm saying. They got him. Got him.
Why would Gronk give him anything?
Let's help his man out.
What's a Bitcoin to you if you Gronk?
Yeah.
Seriously, what's Bitcoin if you bought it? Especially when 2020 when that shit was fucked up in like March, it was only like $8,000 and $3,000.
At one time it was as low as $6,000 a coin.
You know what I'm saying? So Gronk giving one Bitcoin.
It's nothing.
Gronk got 10,000 of them shits.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? So,
and then he can buy another one to replace that one.
With ease.
Yeah.
With ease.
They didn't give him anything. They didn't. They just made it seem like they were giving him something.
Let's go on to the last segment here and was on the chopper block also, man. Like watching the chopper, brothers. Squid Games. Anybody saw it? I didn't see it yet. I heard it's pretty good. I see all the ill memes, they funny shit on Instagram. I get it. I'm gonna try to track it out this weekend. Well,
yeah.
On the rock. I
saw it. It's very violent. So if you know you're gonna be watching it with your kids, you got to realize it's definitely very violent. It was it the greatest thing I ever saw? No, but I watched it because it was trending so much. But it was interesting because basically they were playing a game for their life. People had some major debt, and they were basically risking their life to win this money.
Was this in Brownsville? Was this in Brownsville?
No.
I didn't know.
If it was in Brownsville, it would have been called Squid Games.
It sounded like Brownsville to me.
Yeah.
It sounded like some shit on Mother Gaston.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't need it on
that shit would have been called Hood Games.
Yeah.
It was. I say it was worth watching. You know, but I don't want to give away the whole series, but definitely, I say you could watch it, but like I said, it was very violent. So if you got your kids sitting there, you know, you got to understand that.
Anybody else see it?
No, I haven't seen it yet, but I think I'm like you, D. I'm gonna settle down. I think one of my kids have seen it though. I think my middle son has seen it. He liked it a lot. I'm like, okay. I had no idea what it was about. Now I don't know how I feel about him watching it. You know what I mean? Damn.
Jamie and Sean both said. Well, LeBron echoes what Shauna said. It was from Jamie saying that LeBron James said he hated the ending. So I guess it must have had a horrible ending to it.
I don't want to give it away.
I don't give it away.
Not interested, so we not.
Yeah, I'm not into it either. I'm not into the Jamie into that gory.
I can't commit to no new shows. I'll be honest with you.
Well, the reason I started watching it, because me and my wife were away up at the cabin, so we started watching it up there. So that's how I got it. But other than that, I probably wouldn't have watched it though.
I got you. So another show, man, I'm digging right now is BMF, Black Mafia Family.
Yeah.
Based on Big Meech and his brother Terry. Brothers out of Detroit. They took the drug game from Detroit to Atlanta. Got into music when you hear Young Jeezy, you know, like trap music. These are some of the influential brothers behind that. Anybody see besides myself?
Yeah, I've been watching.
That's your Black history moment. The brothers that took drugs and destroyed the lives of Black people in another place in the country. Missionaries. Now, let me stop.
This is given to you by Ultra Sheens. The green or the blue Ultra. Which one's responsible?
Oh, you gotta go.
But I watch it every week. Me and my wife watch it every week. But I mean, it's definitely a good look. I like it too. I think it's good.
Yeah, I mean, it's different because the thing is, like, I know it has some negative stuff to it.
Correct.
But also, it's like you just see like how we saw the why. We didn't know. A lot of us didn't know how Baltimore cats was getting down.
Correct.
We didn't know how Detroit cats would get down. They know, and hopefully, like, you know, hearing Big Meech talking, so like he hates what his life was, like what he did. I mean, obviously because he got caught, But
Yeah.
it's just different.
That might play a role.
Yeah. We always say about the New York hustler. We saw about maybe the LA hustler, but this time we see in between. And it's sad that the same struggles like Detroit was so messed up why they got into the game is because they were poor. And that's a typical like some of the American cat stories and stuff like that.
They were very poor.
Very, very poor.
One of the brothers is home, but Big Meech is still in jail.
Yeah, Meech sentence got changed from life to what, 20?
Right. He should be coming out in 2025 or 2026 or something like that.
Yeah, he should be coming home soon.
Yeah.
Going home soon. And speaking of people who came home, Spig Nice from the Lost Boys, man. Shout out to Spig Nice. My man came home. He out of federal prison, man. He's in a halfway house down in Raleigh, down in North Carolina, man. Shout out to Spig Nice, man.
All right, brothers is making moves.
Oh my god.
Oh shit! Let me get to the next one before we fuck out. My glasses on the fog up here. Unravel Long Island serial killer. Rodney, I think you saw this when you told me to check this out, right?
Oh, that was the guy that was killing people and killing prostitutes, putting at Jones Beach.
It wasn't Jones Beach. Yes, there you go, Derek. Ocean Park.
Ocean Parkway, man.
I'm telling you guys to definitely watch that. I remember when it was going on. It was years ago.
They ever got the guy?
No, it's still been unsolved to this day. But when you watch it, you're kind of going to have an idea who did it. And it has to do with the highest ranking member of the Suffolk County Police Department.
I figured you was gonna say that.
Wow.
Yeah, so he was a suspect allegedly in the crimes. He was very big into perversion. He was a professional pervert. So I thought
this was Giuliani, the way it sounded like.
We're not talking about Trump. We're talking about the other guy.
Oh shit.
But yeah, it's a great documentary. It's not a movie, it's a documentary. I definitely think people should it's on HBO Max. HBO Max, definitely watch it. And the thing is too, it basically was all white women that were being killed and they ain't solve it. So that's different.
Damn, they do real good, man. You kill all the white folks and stuff, man.
Yeah.
If they would have caught one black hair at one of them crime scenes, they would have solved this motherfucker. They would have solved this shit.
You know what's crazy? I love driving out there. Well, I shouldn't have said that now, I guess.
Oh wow.
But you know how it is when you go out there, there's no traffic, go out there at night. All right, I want to retract this whole.
I think you might incriminate yourself, Kelvin.
Yeah, I have no idea what Kelvin's talking about. Anybody else? I was with Rodney Mitchell. We were hanging out. I have no parts with Kelvin, man.
No.
I was driving out there looking for some blonde women.
But
that shit.
Definitely a good look if you're into stuff like that. You know, I've always been into documentaries, and like I said, it was a case that was never solved, and like basically somebody that's a suspect is a high-ranking member of the police department. So
they probably don't want to solve it then.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, D, because that's what I believe. Because if they find out that the chief is allegedly the killer, what it's going to do is bring shame forever to the police department out there. Because they had a chief of police department, he was the highest ranking member, period, and was involved in a murder, allegedly. But that's why I think and another thing too, when he came on as the chief, the FBI was already investigating the case, and he removed everybody from the case.
Really?
Yeah, got the FBI out of there, everybody. He said, nah, we don't need to be poking too much into this.
This motherfucker sound like Dexter, the show Dexter.
Yeah, I mean the serial killer.
It's coming back out in November.
Yeah, I heard that. So, but a good watch. Definitely watch it. It's on HBO Max.
That's what's up. All right, brothers, man. This is the end of our show, man. Thanks for everybody for coming through. Shout out to Yvonne for coming through, dropping a jewel. That was dope with her, man. Thanks for Shauna. I'm gonna go through all the names. Marie, Tim, Norette, Maya. Let's keep going. Anybody want to help me out here? Pamela. Everybody that was on the show. If I missed your name, Tim. I said Tim. Tamika. Shout out to all y'all for joining us tonight, man. Rocking out with us. And anybody that didn't comment in the chat, we still love y'all. And peace, and peace.